There was an old map in the gallery. It's a reproduction of a colonial map from the 1830s. It depicts Upper and Lower Canada. I wanted to insert another story on top of that map. I'm a native Ontarian, which means I was born here. But more than that, I'm an Indigenous Ontarian, which means that my family comes from the Anishinaabe. Serpent River First Nation is where my family comes from. I wanted to depict the opposing view, and that led me to consider showing the arrival of the Europeans to these shores. I began first drawing on the map and then extending the drawing to the wall adjacent to it. On the right-hand corner of the map, in what is now New Brunswick, which is Maliseet and Mi'kmaq territory, I made a depiction of one of the very first treaties of North America. It's called the Mi'kmaq Concordat. And the idea behind that original treaty was that we would share the land. We would live here together. I think that the original Mi'kmaq saw that the settlers who were arriving from Europe were in need of help. They were in need of a place to live, and the land is bounteous. It was not a land cession at all. It wasn't about surrendering land in exchange for anything else. I wanted to talk about the transitions that occurred as Europeans landed here and then moved westward through this territory, the political ambiguities that they left behind and that we still contend with as Indigenous people. The lakes, because they are animals and because they are drawn in a specific way, really are referencing a very old Anishinaabe tradition, a pictorial tradition and also a mythological tradition, and a way of viewing our place in the environment. I think that the explorers, when they came here, and the Europeans, when they came here, saw the water as a means of getting someplace, as a conveyance, and as a commodity, perhaps. And we have a very different view. And I was really trying to show that opposition. The forts are illustrated with little red coat soldiers, and the American forts are little blue-coated soldiers. And I tried to, in that way, show the way that the waterways of this territory became militarized and came to be understood as territories of someone else. It really was the gradual erosion of the understanding that this was our land and that we had free passage here, that we could go as we pleased. It inhibited our participation in the bounty of the land. And it occurred to me that had there been social media 200 years ago, had we had the kind of reportage that we have now, photography and so on, I think it would have been noticed that there was a continental migration that occurred as colonization moved westward into the heartland of North America, as the woodland was deforested, as trees were felled, in order to make room for settlers' cabins and farming and industrialization and all of the things that colonization brought. There was, I believe, catastrophic habitat loss, not only for the Anishinaabe and the woodland peoples, but for the animals. And I wanted to depict this catastrophic habitat loss in pictures. And so I began drawing the animals running away, running to the west. And I thought I would make the people in sculptural elements. I would make figures that would represent those people. So I went to various strategic areas in Ontario and gathered living branches from the foliage. And the last one is for the Mississauga. They signed the Toronto Purchase. And I wanted to commemorate that particular land transfer. And so I went to the Don River. And these are maple boughs gathered at the Don River and brought here to represent those peoples. I hope they'll be reminders of our enduring presence here on the land.